Hello and welcome to this week's guest special on the Funnyfarm pod. We have a guest on today. I'm quite excited today because it takes me back a little bit. It is our Grange Hill special. We have a teacher on. Hi Steve. You got Steve Blood on. Hi Steve.
How are you doing, Joe? You all right?
I'm good. It is blood, isn't it? And not
It
flood.
is. Yeah, as in the
I'm
red
getting
stuff.
the D's and the F's mixed up. Is that your stage name?
Yes, it is. Yeah, I do a whole set on stuff on my surname anyway, so.
All right, okay. Do you want to tell us a little bit about yourself and what you're up to? That'd be good.
Absolutely, yeah. So I'm actually a school teacher, as you say, the Grange Hill Special. I've been teaching for almost 30 years now.
I'm Zamo today. Go on.
So, yeah, about 30 years, and I'm a design technology teacher, so I just cut wood up for a living, to be honest, and then burn it when the kids don't take it home.
Why did they change woodwork and metalwork to design technology? Why? What was that all about?
Honestly, I wish I could tell you that, because it does my head in. I used to be a specialist, and now I just have to teach everything badly instead of a couple of things really well.
Right, okay, yeah.
I'm going to hazard a guess, and this might be slightly controversial, but I'm going to hazard a guess that it's about feminism.
Oh, bloody women. Oh, bloody women.
Because when I left school in '95, but we did design and technology, but you did have like your specific woodwork, metalwork, and then there was like needlework and all this bollocks, and stuff like that. And yeah, I remember I got called, I did needlework, you had to do them all, and all we wanted to do was fuck about with the lathes and stuff in like metalwork and fucking cut shit up and hammer nails into stuff in woodwork. And we ended up doing needlework, and I was in year 7, so I was like 10 or whatever it is when you're in year 7. And the first parent that we ever had, my mum sat there in front of Mrs. Wheatley, or Miss Wheatley her name was, the needlework teacher, and she turned round and said to my mum, I have never met such a misogynistic child as your Chris. And basically, what that was based on was we were in a needlework class. It was like one of the first ones we ever did. I remember making a cushion. I think my mum might still have the fucker. And it was awful, really terrible. But I turned round to her and goes, why am I doing this? This is woman's work. And I was 10. Yeah. So I've got the feeling that that's what it was about. It was like, it was about, woodwork, metalwork, very manly, very blue tasks. So we need to change it to design and technology and stuff. That's my theory on it anyway. And
I mean, we do still teach textiles, and yes, that does tend to be more females, although we do get a few lads doing textiles as well. The lads tend to do design technology, but unfortunately, it's not making anymore. It's all just designing. And so kids don't get their hands dirty as much as they used to. They don't get to use the lathes. I mean, I love a wood lathe. It's one of my favourite things to do in the world.
I love that school.
Yeah.
And I always said when I retire, I'm going to get myself one.
Oh, it's so therapeutic.
Just get one now, mate.
I've got it all planned. When I retire, I'm going to get myself a big shed. I'm going to get myself a wood lathe. I'm going to start smoking again, and I'm going to sit in that shed all day. Smoking ciggies, drinking beer, and making poles.
Making poles. Random poles.
I'll have to sell them though to pay for my cigarette habit.
I can remember we made like a spinning bob thing. I bet you still do that on the metalwork lathe, where you had to like turn it into like a. That was the best I ever did. That was the best thing I ever did in metalwork. That was good.
The issue you got is girls tend to do better at GCSE design technology anyway. They always get better grades than the boys because the boys just want to make stuff. That's all they want to do.
I did design and technology graphics for my GCSE, and like I didn't fail. I got a D. I got 6 C's and 3 D's, and my D's were in design and technology, expressive art, and religious studies. And I'm fucking proud of that, mate, because they're 3 of the things I never give a fuck about ever again in my life. Do you know what I mean? religious. I did religious studies, right, because I thought it was going to be fucking easier than history and geography. And my fucking word, it was rock hard. That was.
Yeah.
It was, and I liked the teacher. Mr. Thompson was cool as fuck.
Oh, never pick a subject because of a teacher.
Oh, mate, it was all right. It was all right. But yeah,
I did GCSE German because of a teacher, and he left just after I selected doing German, and I hated the new one.
the teacher we had for German, she was your traditional fucking German woman. She used to come in like these little crop tops with nothing there, fucking hairy armpits. You know? It was like, is this going to turn into some kind of German porn film? Do you know what I mean? Like, I can't even remember what name. I've got a feeling we used to call her Shredder. So her name was Miss Shredsky, that was her name. And we used to call her Shredder, and she got more fucking armpit hair than I have. It's mad.
I come off to school with an O level, and the only O level I got was woodwork. I couldn't do metalwork. We had to choose between woodwork and metalwork. But I also did TD. We had woodwork, metalwork, and TD. We never had any cooking, no needlework, and none of that. It was woodwork, metalwork, and TD. You could do TD and woodwork or TD and metalwork, but you couldn't do all three.
I used to hate cooking.
I love cooking.
I love cooking now.
Yeah.
At school, I fucking hated the cookery lesson, right? And this just goes to show what a lazy prick I am, right? It was only because I didn't like taking the fucking stuff and carrying the stuff round. Do you know what I mean? The fucking flour and all that. We made some nice cookies and we made a fucking shepherd's pie and all that bollocks. But my mum loved it because she didn't have to cook that night. You know what I mean? We were ill for a week or two after, but I liked the actual cooking bit, but I didn't like having to gather all the fucking ingredients. And like the night before, I'm like to my mum, I need flour, Mum, I need this. Like, why do you fucking tell me? Why do you fucking tell me? You know what I mean? Anyway,
I actually teach food technology as well, so I do teach cooking.
Yeah.
It's one of my many. So I teach I'm head of the department, so I teach whatever's left over when I've set the timetable up.
You just pick and choose the ones you want, really, don't you, Steve?
Well, no, I wish I did. I just literally get the dregs at the end.
Have you ever had a student on parents' evening being called a misogynistic at the age of 10?
No, definitely not. That's a new one on me.
But I'm sure you've got some good stories. Come on, let's have a few.
Well, you're talking to a design technology teacher who's actually chopped his own finger off.
Mate, I was going to say that. My design and technology, he was also my form tutor, Mr. West. He was a fucking legend. He's probably dead now, but he was an absolute legend. And his advert for design and technology was that he fucking cut his finger off on the bandsaw.
Well, Mum just I tell you what, it takes some cutting on the bandsaw to cut your finger off. Mine was a circular saw. That was over in seconds.
Yeah.
Did you do yours in work as well in school?
I did, yeah.
Oh, were all the kids there?
I was in the prep room, which is where you have to keep the big circular saw, and it was completely my fault, rushing, trying to get some work prepped, and when I cut it, I didn't feel a thing. It was just so quick and over. And then I suddenly looked at my hand and thought, oh dear, this is not right. So I shouted for the technician. I ran into the workshop where the sink was, sitting around, I need to get this washed. And the technician ran in and just shoved the kid off a stool so I could sit down at the sink. This kid went flying across the workshop. And then the first thing I said was, well, that's my guitar playing gone.
You know what? Typical teachers, they get enough holidays as it is, and they want to get more time off by cutting.
I was off for one day when I did this. Literally, the head teacher took me to the hospital to stitch it all back up, and then I was back in the following day.
I've got to ask you a dead serious question about that. You know when you're cracking one off now, or from then when you're cracking one off, does it feel different? Do you still feel like your fingers at the end?
Do you know what? It is really weird. Whether it's when they're cracking one off, it doesn't matter. But the weird thing is, when I touch the top of my finger here, I feel it underneath. Because all the nerve endings are in a wrong place, and it feels really, really odd. But it is my left hand, not my right hand. So it's...
Not your wanking hand, then.
Yeah, exactly.
For cracking them off. It's like, I don't know, like I'm milking a cow. Sorry.
Talking about Charlie's mentioning time off there. I mean, I think me and Charlie both have the same kind of consensus that teachers have a lot of fucking holidays. And there's a clip that was out a while back, and it was basically me saying that, fair enough, teachers have a fucking load of holidays and this, that, and the other, and it's best job for if you're a teacher and you've got kids because you're off in the school holidays and all that bollocks. But it's like the worst time to have your holidays, isn't it? Because
cost a fortune.
Yeah, if you want to go abroad, or even like I'm guessing Butlins hiked the prices up as well in the school holidays. And
when school holidays, I look at the Centre Parks website.
Yeah,
just think of double the price Centre Parks, and every school holiday comes on, if not more.
Yeah, I know, but Centre Parks was built to just have the fucking hand in your pocket, wasn't it?
Yeah. Bend you over, isn't it? Basically.
What's your give us give us a minute elevator pitch on why you should have as many holidays as you have.
Do you know what? It's Andy, if you sit down and work it out, because I've had numerous conversations with people, and one of my friends, my brother, he works 4 days off, 4 days on his job, and then he gets his statutory holiday entitlements as well. I actually sat down and worked out I actually spend more days in school work than he does because of that.
Yeah, I'm going to just cut in there, mate. That's a bollocks answer, that.
You should have let him carry on. He's not even 30 seconds into his pitch.
I know, didn't give me a chance, did he? The other thing is, let's face it, I've got to spend 5 hours a day with other people's bloody children, locked in a room with them. I need that time off after that comes to play.
I do actually know this is the truth. I really can't tell you who it is, but I know a teacher. He's a bit of a dick, to be honest with you as well. But he's an Everton fan. He hates kids. He hates kids. Absolutely hates kids. The only reason why he's a teacher is because he loves travelling, and he goes away every holiday. Every half term, every end of term, he's away. That's the only reason why he teaches. He hasn't got any kids because he can't stand it.
I have worked with a number of teachers who really don't like kids, and I do think you've picked the wrong job. But I quite like kids.
You
don't want to be saying that
on this podcast, mate. I've done all about Epstein and all that before, you know what I mean? I don't know if
it's in Mulvale's mate on who's in the Epstein files.
Steve Blood's name pops up. I'm only kidding. Here's my take on it then. So I used to do the 4 on 4 off stuff, and it was great because you literally book 4 days off and you get 12 days off. It's wicked. And when you work it out, you work like 50% of the year anyway because it's 4 on 4 off. And then when you take into account your holidays, you're probably only working 5 months out of the year. But you do 4 12-hour shifts.
That is true. So I will give you that, Chris.
It's an average of 43, 44 hours a week when you take it on a weekly basis. That's fucking more than a teacher does in a week.
But you say, I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm a big advocate of I do not take work home with me. So I try and get everything I can do. I get done at work, and then I get my home time is my time. Now, that does mean that I do spend a lot, I'm at work a lot earlier than perhaps some, and I'm staying a little bit longer than perhaps some, but it does mean I've got a life when I actually get home.
Yeah.
There are some people I know who are sat there marking at 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock at night, and I'm thinking, right, you've got this wrong.
Yeah,
but they're sat at home with a wine, aren't they?
Or in the pub. I've seen teachers in the pub with a beer marking the papers and stuff.
Yeah.
In the smoking area.
But the thing is, this was my theory on. So I think it's rotten that teachers A get so many fucking holidays, right? But B don't get to choose when they have those holidays. And I I think schools should be run in the same way as the workplace. So like a normal workplace. So I think the logistics of this will be the floundering problem. But I think that you should have to book your holidays off. So, like, you should have, Christmas and whatever, maybe a fortnight in the summer. Like, you have to have that off. And you have to have Christmas off, and you have to have Easter off. And then the rest of those, I'm not saying you should knock them down. You should still have, like, similar kind of holidays to what normal folk have. And then the kids and the teachers should have to book those days off, so that the teachers and the parents can have a holiday that doesn't cost a fortune, until the holiday companies then decide, well, actually, we probably ought to make it a square across the board thing, because they take the piss out of parents and teachers on those holiday prices.
Do you know what? You're absolutely right. The problem you're going to have is parents. It's not teachers, it's parents, because they get free childcare for a big chunk of the time, but they're not going to worry about the kids, because they're all in our custody. That's not the right word. In our safety, possibly not. The thing about the holidays is, not long ago, my wife was made redundant, and she's also a teacher. And I was working in Leicestershire. Now, Leicestershire has never had the same school holidays as anywhere else in the country. And so I broke up really, really early. And we were able to take a holiday that was £1,500 cheaper for that holiday than if we'd have taken exactly the same holiday the week later.
Yeah.
And so the holiday companies are the big problem.
Yeah, I mean, I was going to ask you that. What's your views on taking kids out of school for holidays? I mean, I've done it a few times. I've done a few times where, like, Easter, I don't know, starts on the Saturday and we'll go on the Wednesday, and it saves you about £700. And Mrs. Huff, yeah, we do ring in saying the kids are ill. Fuck off.
I'm not cutting that out, mate.
Do you know what? That holiday we had that was £1,500 cheaper, we took our kids out of their schools that week. Because I was in Leicestershire, my wife worked in Derbyshire, but she was unemployed, and my kids were in Staffordshire. And honestly, I went to see the kids' head teacher and went to explain the situation, and he was a lovely bloke, and he said to me, he says, right, Steve, you got a choice. You can either fill in the forms. You know I can't authorise the holiday, but you can fill in the forms. You're not going to get fined, because we're not fining school this year, but we will be next year. Or your kids are ill for a week. And he actually said this to me. Bless him. But yeah, I actually did take the kids out. So I fully understand. What I find is really weird is when parents take kids out of school, perhaps on the lead up to their GCSE exams and things like that.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, what are you doing?
Yeah. I mean, they're primary at the moment. So, I mean, maybe next year it might be a bit different when one of them goes up to into high school and that. But yeah, I think you should have some sort of leeway. And I think if you're taking the piss, if you take the piss, they should come down on you then. And I think that would probably be a good sort of like balance, for them, instead of being this firm with fines. It's silly. I think.
Well, most people are happy to pay the fines. It's like, well, it's going to cost me £90 or something.
They've changed them all. Yeah. They've changed them all. So what is it, Steve? You might be able to enlighten us on this now.
Well, the way they fine now is they fine each parent per child. So if you've got 2 kids, they will charge both parents for both kids.
What
so
happens
if it's 90 quid per kid, they will then charge 180 quid for one parent and then 180 quid for the other parent.
So that's still fucking cheaper on Charlie's holiday.
Absolutely, yeah, and that's the big issue. Is the savings, far outweigh the fine.
Yeah. Then if is it twice now? If you get caught doing it again, they take you to court.
Yeah, they can do. But it's still at the head teacher's discretion. So some schools will, some schools won't.
Oh, it's a head teacher's discretion, is it?
Or the multi-academy trust discretion, things like that. Because some trusts do fine, some don't. It's just,
See, that's not right, that either. It should be across the board or not at all.
I completely agree.
That's totally wrong, isn't it?
So anyway, my idea is a good one, but you don't think it'd work logistically because...
logistically, I just don't think it'll work. Because, as I say, parents will kick off because they haven't got their free childcare. And the holiday companies will just play the game and just shift stuff about anyway. And so everybody will end up paying more rather than just us teachers or parents who want to play by the rules.
Yeah, it don't work. So basically, we just stuck with the fact that teachers get far too many fucking holidays, but you're going to have to pay a premium to go on holiday.
Yeah.
Anyway, next question. How long have you been a teacher?
Almost 30 years. I think it's my 28th year this year.
Wow. Well done, mate. Well done.
Just think of all those July and August I've had, Chris.
So in your 28 years being a teacher, have you ever worked with anyone who would have liked to have gone to Epstein Island?
Quite probably. I've worked in many schools and people have vanished under weird clouds and things like that. So it's not unusual, unfortunately. Too many do get through the net that do actually end up working in teaching.
My year, what would it be? Year 4, 5 or 6, something like that. He was also our scoutmaster, tennis coach. He got fucking
ticked all the boxes then.
Yeah. Now red flag. But yeah, and he was like, we've talked about it on the pod before, and he was the best fucking teacher. Everyone loved him. He was great. Do you know what I mean? He used to give me a lift home from Scout, so thank fuck I was an ugly bastard.
It's scary when you think back on those type of things, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, you know, I'm a little bit older, but when I was young and I had loads of blonde hair, and I wrote to Jimmy Savile. You know what I mean? He'd love me.
You probably looked like you could have been his son, mate.
Put him in a gold lame tracksuit. He's there.
My wife is dead funny. She won't let the kids have like their names on the back of the football shirts. She won't let them join the scouts. You know. Yeah. You know, and stuff like this. She won't let them join the local scouts at all.
Little name tags on bags and all sorts.
She's been a social worker for many years. So yeah.
What do you reckon about? Obviously, we're talking about nonsense done now. Let's not. I'll give you another minute to do, and we'll give you a full minute this time, Steve, to debunk the statement. Those who can do, those who can't teach.
Oh, crikey, that's always a good one. The simple fact that then we add that to that, and those who can't teach become SLT or Ofsted inspectors. So we do kind of work on that front as well.
PE, if those who can do, those who can't teach, and those who can't teach PE.
Yeah. I wouldn't dream of saying that to anybody. I have a lot of friends who are PE teachers, and they're a lot fitter and stronger than I am. So I wouldn't go that far. But certainly PE teachers are all failed sportsmen. There's no denying that. You know, they all want to be. Yeah, of course they do. I've worked with plenty.
That's true. It is true. I mean, you know, you look how many people enjoy sports and all that, and there's only a very, very small percentage who actually make it. You know, but they all love sports, so you just go on and teach.
But weirdly, I've taught an awful lot of ex-footballers' kids in my time as well. Yeah. So, you know, where I work, or I'm in around Leicestershire, Nottinghamshire, Derbyshire, then I've taught an awful lot of these kids. So it's interesting to see how many do, because they still go to state education. They're not sent to private schools and things like that. It's quite nice to see. But yeah, it's interesting to see how many proper ex-footballers, and I mean proper ex-footballers who did a really good job in their time. You know, I've taught an awful lot of their kids in 30 years. It's amazing how you come across.
My sister's a teacher, and like I know other people who've done teaching. Like Larry's wife's a teacher, but they went out and did like a Bachelor of Education degree, and like they get a little bit pissed off about people who have gone out and done like some history or some really dodgy degree and then go and do a PGCE. You know,
I did a BEd as well, so.
Yeah. And you find that infuriating as well, then?
You find an awful lot that think, oh, what do I do now? Oh, no, I'll just be a teacher. There is an awful lot of teachers who didn't want to be teachers, but just came across it because that was the only thing available to them at the end.
Yeah.
Far too many.
I mean, I considered going and doing the PGCE, but they wanted like maths teachers and science teachers and stuff like that. My degree's in psychology, so I didn't end up doing it. But the only reason I wanted to be a teacher was because of the fucking holidays.
Weirdly, A-level psychology is the second most popular A-level in the country.
Wow. Yeah. Class subject. I mean, I proper loved it. I mean, I went back as a mature, and I've always, like, it started off when I was a kid, like, I was dead interested in, Charlie's going to pick me up on this, I was dead interested and still am on, like, cold cases and crime, like forensic psychology and stuff like that. And I'll be honest with you, mate, I've never done fuck all with my degree, really. I mean, it gets you a higher level job. Like the first recruitment job I had, you had to have a degree to get in at Hayes Recruitment. So, like, they did sometimes recruit people who didn't, but generally they only really interviewed people with like outstanding CVs or a degree. So it has done me favours, but like that was the other thing I was considering, going back and doing a master's in forensic psychology, which I think would be just fascinating.
More interesting than anything else.
Yeah, but the degree itself, I mean, you went into everything. I mean, my dissertation ended up being part of a study, so I'm a published co-author. Yeah, I mean, I read it recently, though, because I graduated in 2010 as a mature, and I read my dissertation not so long back, and my daughter did as well, and both of us just looked at each other and go, what the fuck is this all about? What I've done. It was all cognitive stuff, so it was all reasoning and logic and shit that I did. And I did some research work with my dissertation guy, but it was just interesting, you know what I mean? So if I could be a psychology teacher, I think I would absolutely love that job, because I think it's just fascinating. Sexual of Freud and all that bollocks. It's great, but yeah, there's loads, isn't there? I mean, they put must be a lot of like maths graduates that go and do it, because it's fully funded. You know, you can get on skit and stuff where you can get funded and paid to go and train to be a teacher for a year or
Certain subjects have bursaries, and maths and science have the biggest bursaries available. But so many do the training, take the bursary, do a couple of years, then bugger off.
Yeah.
You're amazed how many do that, because the bursary is tax-free.
It's because people, the old adage, isn't it, that teaching, nursing, stuff like that, it's a vocation. It's not something that something that you love or you want to do. It's not something that you like. I know we've had a bit of a joke about holidays and all that stuff, but at the end of the day, you've got to give massive props to teachers, nurses, doctors, because they're underpaid and overworked a lot of the time. I mean, we joke about, I mean, you just said you don't do any work at home, but a lot of teachers do take the work home, and you must take your planning home for all that stuff. So, fair enough. And at the end of the day, you're in charge of like the most precious things to us in the world. I mean, as much as we love the free childcare, these are the biggest loves of our lives that you're looking after on a day-to-day basis. So, full props to you. And just like swiftly moving on, like a perfect seg in a comedy set, is the fact that you do teaching the reason why you decided to get on stage and be a clown?
Well, do you know what? Quite often, because I'm a very loud teacher, and I'm always telling jokes and prattling about during lessons. And so it felt like a natural move. I'd always fancied it. There'd always been, well, I could do that. And you see how many ex-teachers have gone into it. And I know for what, I'm a teacher for life. There's no denying of that. But I've just discovered this weird little hobby that I really enjoy. And actually my job feeds into it really well, because there are stupid stories and things that happen to me as a teacher, or I've witnessed as a teacher. But I all my lessons I clown about anyway. So it just seems to be a natural progression to have had a crack. And I did it as a one-off. So I started doing stand-up comedy. I did a trading course as a one-off, thinking, do you know what? It's an itch I'll scratch. Once I've scratched it, that's fine. But that was a year ago, and now I'm doing gigs every week, 2 weeks, without a shadow of a doubt. I've been travelling around and
Just to slip back a little bit for people out there, I mean, obviously I've been doing comedy a long time. I started off doing a course as well, and I did a gong show, Spiky Mike, fucking miserable it was horrible, my jokes were crap. I got gonged off at 2 minutes, but I got the bug for it. I just felt great on stage, even though a couple of the jokes landed and I got a laugh, good laughs, and then the rest of it was about fucking Jordan's tits and David Beckham. It was crap.
Showing your age.
Yeah, well, 15 years ago, 16 years ago, my first gig. And then I did a course which was called Friends of the Mirth, which doesn't exist anymore. It was run by a guy called Matt Turner, who's a good comedian. He's moved to Canada now, so he lives out there. So for people who want to start up doing comedy, I would always say a course or a very good book is a good way to start. So what course was it that you did, Steve?
I did the Ultra Comedy course, and I had Anthony Williams as our mentor and Dawn Bailey. So you're fully aware of those two anyway. And it was an 8-week course. I met some really, really, really good mates who are still very much in contact with and still gig together. But it was just sort of learning the ground rules about how you line up a gig, how you, as you say, the perfect segues and things like that, how they fit into place. And it was just lovely to see that actually a lot of people did laugh at my stories. I've also done a Spiky Mike gong. That was terrifying, but I did make it through, so that was always a bonus. I think that was my third ever gig was the Spiky Mike gong. So
I've done so many of them over the years because I've been 15 years, but on and off, mostly off. And every time I've come back, I've gone to mine. I was the first time I did comedy, I did it for 2 or 3 years, and I got to the stage where Mike booked me to MC. I never did that gig. I ended up quitting before I did it, but he booked me to MC the New Barrack Tavern, and then Anthony got that gig afterwards, and he does that still now. And every time I've come back, I've said to Mike, "Can I get a 10?" And he's like, "No, you'll have to do my gong shows." So this time I came back in November 24. I did 5 gong shows, got to the final of every one before he gave me a 10 spot. I didn't win any of them because I'm not a competition comic. I'm not very good at them.
You said that last time I saw you.
Yeah, well, I got through that heat that you saw.
You did,
but then I was robbed at the second final.
We all were, mate. I was robbed in my competition as well.
Yeah, I mean, Anthony Williams and Dawn Bailey, in my opinion, they're like East Midlands comedy gold. They're just such a lovely couple. And they're both seriously funny. Both very different in the styles that they do. But, I mean, I love doing fantastically well on the circuit. And, like, Anthony, like, the thing about him is, like, he'll go on and do a gig, and I always try and do, like, room observations and stuff like that. Anthony will often have done like a bit like research on the area, and he'll just come out with jokes that are related to that. And that's a great thing to do because obviously if you can make jokes up on the spot about stuff that's in that area, that's good. But so you did your 8-week course. So this is a year ago. So how many gigs are you on now, Steve?
Oh, crikey. I reckon I'm now on... Well, it's over 20 for certain. I can't remember exactly how many. It's usually one a week, one a fortnight, things like that. I've done some very odd ones. I did do the Hollybush in Birmingham the other week. That was the most surreal experience of my life. You pull up and you think, this looks like a pub that's not been open for 50 years. Then you walk in and it looks like a pub that's not been open for 50 years. And you're doing a gig on Steptoe's Yard. It's a very, very strange place.
So I did the Friends of the Mirth comedy course, which was I think it was 2 Sundays, if I remember rightly.
Right, okay.
We did that at the Grosvenor, which Charlie and me have been for dinner at quite a few times in
Nottingham.
Nottingham, yeah. The student.
Oh, yeah, I'm aware of it, yeah.
I used to look Grove from
there. And the show, you get like a showcase at the end of it, and it was supposed to be, but for some reason they couldn't do it there, so we had ours at the Bush. So I can tell you that 15, 16 years ago, the Bush looked like a pub that was open, and you went in it, and it looked like a pub that was open. I did the Bush last year, and I walked in, and I thought, is this going to be a gig? Is it, there's like fucking You can't get to the toilet. One of the toilets is off the fucking wall. There's like shit all down the side of the, like old fucking fruit machines and stuff all over the place. You walk in and there's Dave Francis, who owns the place, with a bloke sat drinking tins of beer in front of a fucking open fire that they've clearly made themselves, probably not legally allowed to have. And then, like, I was the first one there, and I thought, can you get a drink here? Is there actually a bar? There was a beer and whatever. And then people filed in, and you literally performed. There's a picture of Shaking Stevens, isn't there, on the wall?
Still there, yeah.
Still there, and you perform in front of a fucking, I think it's 2 saris that he sewed together, if I remember right. It's like a purple fucking...
Purple, yeah.
Curtain, but it's not a curtain. I remember I opened with, fuck me, I came here 16 years ago, and the only thing that's not changed is this curtain. The rest of the place looks like, yeah. And he's like, and I'm pretty sure he was at the bar, and he's like, that's 2 saris all sewed together, that, mate. 2 saris. But I love Dave. Such a great guy.
He's a lovely bloke. When we were there, though, a mate of mine was on stage, and his mobile phone was linked to the PA. So Dave's phone rang, and he literally answered the phone, and we could hear the conversation on the PA while this gig was going on. It was so surreal. But, yeah, I mean, someone was pointing out that basically the Hollybush smells of styrofoam and hash. That's kind of what it smells of. It's a unique place, without a shadow of a doubt.
I went out for a cigarette, and there was a couple of people out the back having a bifter. But it's such a. I would say to any new comedian, right, that's local, go and do the Cradley Heath Bush. It's just a surreal experience.
Yeah.
But it's such a supportive comedy scene there. It's like
the audience are amazing.
Yeah, and you do get audience. It's not just people. It's not just comedians. You do get a splattering of people that are actually just audience members. So it's it's an experience.
It's definitely an experience.
What's the best gig you've done so far, Steve?
Ooh, that's a great one. Do you know what? I think it's because I'm trying a lot of new stuff, and the new stuff's hitting that I'm really enjoying more of the recent stuff. I'm actually on at the Hawk and Buckle with Craig the 18th of June. And that's because it's almost like a home gig for me. So because Burton and Burton are really close anyway. And so I wanted to trial a load of new stuff to see what will work there. And all the new stuff seems to be hitting and getting laughs from a variety of different audience members rather than just people of my age and things like that. So I would suggest the best ones are the most recent ones. Because I'm being a little bit more visual as well. So I'm bringing little props and things in, which seem to be getting people going. And so I'm hoping the Hawk and Buckle will be my best one, because I'm expecting a large supportive audience that most of my family are going to be there, which is going to be fun, because I'm not a sweary comedian. I do drop a few swear words in, but I'm not a sweary comedian. So, it'll be interesting to see how my parents cope occasionally with the odd F-bomb that I drop, because I very rarely swear in front of my mum and dad anyway, even now, and I'm 50. And I still won't swear in front of my mum. But she will have to see that. If she's coming to see me do a comedy gig, then there will be a few bits that are a bit more rude. But certainly, the more recent stuff, I'm really enjoying the more recent stuff. It's because I'm trying to keep it fresh. I've done an awful lot. I mean, I was advised, get 5 and nail 5 down. Get 5, literally get that 5. So you pretty much, your 5 minutes is set in stone. But I'm finding that I'm seeing bits which aren't working and bits which are. So I'm keeping it refreshed all the time. So whether I'm doing the right thing, I'm not sure. But I'm now getting to the point where I can keep. I mean, as a teacher, I can talk for a bloody hour without blinking, so it's not a problem talking. But yeah, I'm trying to keep it fresh all the time. Sorry, Charlie.
Do you keep it separate like school, or do you bring school into your routine?
Definitely. A lot of my stuff is about school.
Right. Okay.
Obviously, the names are protected to protect the innocent, etc. But there is a lot of stuff. Tends to be more about older schools than my current school. I think it's a bit dangerous if I start telling gags about where I'm currently at. I quite like my job. I don't want to lose it just yet. So it tends to be more older stories.
You don't want your pupils to find you on Facebook either, do you? To start.
Oh, believe me, some have already found some of my stuff. You'd be amazed at what they can do. I mean, I did have a YouTube channel myself, but I didn't want kids accessing that. But if you Google my name and comedy, then the very first ultra comedy gig I ever did is online, and I've got no control over that anyway. So a lot of my kids a lot of my pupils have actually seen that show. But as I say, it's not massively problematic. I'm not a swearer.
Yeah.
How does that work with your employer, though? Have you told your headmaster and that you do it? Have you kind of had to go through an approval process for that, or do you just?
When I did the ultra comedy course, because the way ultra works is you basically make money for charity, and don't be wrong, I think it's a slight scam, but you make money for charity. And my head teacher did sponsor me to do the gig, so she's fully aware. She's seen the show. I've forwarded a copy of it, so she knows exactly what's been said. So I've not hidden anything from her. But I keep all of it old stuff that won't jeopardise my current role.
Yeah. So you use a stage name, I guess, rather than your actual name.
No, I use my actual name. I've got no issue with using my actual name.
So I know a lot of teachers on the circuit, and they do change their name. So it's like they'll use a stage name. It just makes it that little bit more difficult for kids to find you, I suppose.
Yeah.
But
I mean, with a name like Blood, though, I mean, the very first few gags I ever do were based on the fact that my name is Blood and my grandmother's name was Death. So, it goes also through a range of different names. So my very first gig was all about the fact that I wanted to be a doctor, and who would want to go and see a Dr. Blood? But I said, but my grandmother's name was Death, and so like I say, Dr. Death probably a little worse. So, I think my name actually works for what I'm trying to do rather than hiding.
Is that true? Your grandmother's name was Death?
My grandmother's name was Death. They pronounced it Death, but it was spelled Death.
How bizarre is that? That's crazy.
Imagine being a Death and then marrying someone who's a Blood.
I know.
Well, it was my mum's maiden name, my mum's name, not my dad's. But it was bloody close. Let's face it. But yeah, definitely, Dr. Death. That would have been great.
Good stuff. Yes, that's cool. What's your I mean, obviously, we've said best gig. What's the worst gig you've ever done?
Well, to be honest, it probably was that spiky mic gong, because I'd set it all up, and because you've only got 5 minutes, and every couple of minutes he flashes the lights, and somebody has to vote you off, and I just lost my rhythm. Every time the lights flash, you lose your rhythm. Yeah. And when I got off and got through, the spiky mic came over to me and went, "Bloody hell, you dragged that, haven't you?" I suddenly realised that I'd got about a minute and a half, and I'd only got about 30 seconds left of my actual rehearsed set, and I was literally dragging out so I could get to my punchline, which was, the new one. We should get did get the biggest laugh, but I suddenly realised that I'd rushed through it, and I felt so on edge because I thought, I've messed this up here, because I'm really going to push myself to get this to it. But I did make it to the end. But even Mike said, "Bloody hell, you dragged that out, somewhat chronic, to make that work, didn't you?" And it was.
That's what I absolutely love about Spiky Mike. He's got no fucking filter whatsoever.
No, definitely not, no.
Literally just come up to you at the end and go, "That weren't very good, was it?"
That's it, yeah. But he said, "Oh, you dragged that out." But I made it through, and that was my only aim. My third gig, if I make it through the first 5 minutes, I see that as a win. I was never going to win it.
No.
When you've got acts on who are proper on the circuit, doing it day in, day out, I was never going to win it.
Who won it?
Comedy magician, what's his name?
Who?
Cahill.
Oh.
Is it Michael Cahill?
No.
Alex.
It's a good man of mine. It's not Martin, is it?
It's not Martin, no. He was on the gig you did at the Auckland Buckle.
The magician. Alex.
Yes. Alex. So he won it.
Alex, I love you bits, and we've known each other ages, and I love you, but I forgot your name.
But he won it, and he had my son on stage doing the steady tube flower gag thing. But my son sort of realised what he was doing and switched before Alex could realise what he'd done. So it was quite funny. But yeah, he won it. But there was some really good acts who got gonged off, and I'm thinking, this is really harsh. If you've come across Ben Pugh, the Welsh comedian, he got gonged off, and I thought he was brilliant. And I'm thinking, right, okay, this is really harsh.
Yeah, I know Ben. Yeah, the thing with gong shows is like you've got. I was talking to Dan live the other day, and he was saying like gong, and he just had 2 applause breaks, told his next gag, and they gonged him off. Impossible. You can get 2. You know, I mean, that's the point of it. They are brutal. Spiky Mike's gongs are probably the nicest gongs on the circuit, in my opinion.
Who gongs you off? Who gongs you off?
It basically, I think, is it with Mike's? He gives 5 people in the audience. It used to be glow stick. I think he gets some cards.
Coloured cards, green or red cards.
It used to be glow sticks, but it's cards now. So if you get, with Mike, if you get 3 reds,
you're off.
Then you're off. So it's by majority. I think at the Frog and Bucket, they give 3 audience members cards, and all 3 go. If all 3 go up, you're off. I think.
Right. Okay.
Right.
How it is. But I've done the Frog and Bucket twice, and I've done just about 4 minutes on each, and been gonged off. I did the Comedy Store King Gong years ago, back in 2011-12. I got through to the final of the King Gong at the Manchester Comedy Store, which is no longer doing it. They don't do it anymore. I was booked to do the London one, and I pulled out. I just thought, I'm not driving down to London to get gonged after 10 seconds.
4 minutes.
Well, so I mean, if I got to 4 minutes, I'd be all right with that. But like, you like, there's one in Stockton, and there's no grace period. So with Mike, you get 2 minutes grace. So every act is guaranteed 2 minutes.
Yeah.
And then they all gong you off. With the Comedy Store or a lot of the other gigs, they can just gong you off straight away. So there was a story about a guy who went on stage and went, "Hi, my name's Craig. I'm from Canada," and they just gonged him off immediately.
Gonged him straight off.
Yeah, like 10 seconds, if that, and he was off. They're not, and a lot of the Spiky Mike's is completely different, but a lot of these gong shows, the MCs are told to promote that. So it's like, if this,
be brutal.
Want you to gong them off. So they just put shitloads of acts on, like 30 acts or whatever. And if all of them got to the final, you know what I mean? You'd be there till 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. So I don't particularly like gongs, but they are like a necessary evil. Like, I was happy to do the gong. Well, happy to, but I did the gong shows for Mike because I wanted to get onto his list. Get on some gigs because his gigs are really nice and he's a good bloke. I like Mike. So we did those, and I'll probably, if I'm in Manchester at some point, because my parents live up that way, I'll probably try and drop on the Frog and Bucket one again.
Big frog.
It's kind of, I'm doing like 20-minute spots and 15-minute spots now in the middles and whatnot. A few weekend clubs I've done now, and it's like, I really want to be going and doing a gong show, but I will if it means I'm going to get some progression. But now, years ago, like if you got through the final or won the Frog and Bucket, you got like an 8-minute spot on one of those. So like you automatically won a spot. They don't do that anymore. So it's like, it's almost a lot harder to kind of get a proper spot at these places.
I didn't enjoy the gong, but for you, I thought, well, I'm going to do it because it may give me a chance to get on with Mike. But yeah, you've got to do a few of them for him to actually say, I will give you a show. Because he does an awful lot round here. So, I do perhaps need to do a few more.
Yeah, so you mentioned earlier about, like, I'm a big, I suppose, purporter of the fact that you should get that type 5 and then build upon that. So that was the first thing I did, was like got a tight 5 minute, and then did the gong shows, did 5 minute spots. And like, I suppose everybody then you'll write a bit more and you'll get up to 7 minutes or whatever. But I think, like, if anyone's starting out there, just try and write 5 minutes. And if it lasts three,
yeah, I mean, in fairness, I did. I mean, for the first probably 8, 9, 10 gigs, it was the same 5 minutes. Just subtle tweaks when you realise things didn't work. It's more recently that I'm actually thinking, I need to change some of this, because some of it's not working, some of it is. And then I found something that I really like doing, and that got really good feedback. So that's why. So I have got a tight 5. I now think I've got a pretty tight 10 now, without much of a blink. As I say, I talk for a living. It's what I do. So I can
never throw your material away either. If you've got a bit that's not working, you can probably reword it and make it work. Have you heard of the Adam Bloom book?
Yes.
Finding your confidence.
Anthony Williams recommended that book to us when we were training.
Did you get it?
I've not got it yet, but it is on my list of things to purchase.
I got it. I bought the book, so I've got the book in there. I read it twice. I went on his masterclass, which was great. I think it was 80 quid or something for a 2-day masterclass, I think it was. And then I bought the Audible version, so I listen to it when I'm driving around sometimes as well now. It's great. It's really good. And what it does is it literally pinpoints, like, you write your material out and then like pinpoint how to get that so it actually works better. He'll say like a lot of the way through the book, he'll go, this gag works, it's a good gag, it's going to get a laugh, but if you just change these words around, it'll get a much bigger laugh. And it's just great. It's like a bit of a game changer. When you write a piece of new material, write it out and then just like apply some of his rules to it. And which
is what Anthony taught us during our training.
Yeah.
But what was also good with that is a lot of us worked on each other's as well. So we'd do a bit, and then you go away and you discuss subtle changes. And so many of us got much better material just because someone else had listened to it and tweaked little bits for you, or to switch words. And you're absolutely right; it makes absolute sense. And I do intend to get Adam Bloom's book. It's just one of the things sitting in the must-do list.
You're a busy man after all, Steve. You're a teacher, aren't you? You only get 30 weeks.
I know, I've had a week off, but I've also got a wife who's a teacher, so she's had me doing stuff in the garden all week. And it's been bloody horrible weather for doing stuff outside.
Anything that you want to plug or anything like that? Your socials, stuff like that?
Well, with the plug-wise, I mean, I've got the Hawk and Buckle on the 18th of June. I'm also doing Denzel's Comedy Tapas next Saturday on the 6th of June. I'm also doing the Den of Fools. If you've ever done one of Denzel de Cristo's Den of Fools, that is a surreal experience.
Yeah, I've done Denzel's gigs. I've done a few. We're still here, mate. I've done a few of these.
It'll work its way out, don't worry about it.
Are you back?
Maybe you can't
hear.
Hey,
aren't teachers fucking lazy bastards, Charlie? He's back. Yeah, I've done a few Denzel gigs. I've done his Long Eaton one a few times, but I've never done the Den of Fools.
No, I did the Den of Fools with him at Leicester during the Leicester Comedy Festival, but fortunately I wasn't one of the people who wasn't getting paid. Which was weird because there literally was 3 people in the audience and 2 of them were comedians who'd just performed for us. So that was a very strange experience. But it's like Mock the Week meets Whose Line Is It Anyway? So it's a bit of fun. It's a bit of fun.
Good.
So I'm doing that next Saturday afternoon, and I'm staying around to do the Comedy Tapas. So
my show's on the 5th at the Tudor Bar, Old Bell in Derby.
The little vaulted room out the back.
Yeah, if you want to pop along, mate, just come in and just come and have a laugh.
That's a Friday, isn't it? Yeah. I'm trying to get as many shows as I can while I'm over, in Derby, because I'd say it's only around the corner for me. My wife currently is going to one tonight. She's going to do the Mrs. Smith Eyes on Me 1, 2, 3. Load of teachers. There you go. I didn't fancy that one, but she's doing that tonight, and then I'm off to see George Coppen on the Sunday's gig.
Oh, George was great. He was last night. It was really good, really good.
Well, I used to teach George, so it is quite a weird thing. So George is an ex-student of mine, and when I first gigged with him, he was emceeing, and I said to him, I said, look, I was just before my 50th birthday, and I said to George, George, when I used to teach you, because it was 15, 16 years ago now, what did I look like? And he replied, pretty much as you do now. And I said, right, I see, I've always looked 50. So, but no, I've got a lot of time for George. And he's actually been really, really supportive. When I took it up, when I started doing this, he was really supportive. He gave me loads of feedback on my first video, and he's given me.
If you want to contact us, if you'd like to come on as a guest like Steve and talk bollocks with us for an hour, drop us an email at hello@funnyfarmpod.co.uk. Charlie loves having emails, and we don't get enough, so please bombard him. Do anything, just comment on his bald, shiny head, or comment on his Everton shirt, or whatever you want to. Drop us an email. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. Follow me, Chris Richmond, on Facebook, at Chris Rich Comedian on TikTok and Instagram. Anything I've missed, Charlie?
No, just hello@funnyfarmpod.co.uk. Drop us an email, go on. And follow us on Facebook so we can take this shite off. Thank you.
Thank you for joining us, Steve. Thank you for joining us, listeners, viewers. We love you all. We'll see you soon.